We have so many different ways to celebrate Christmas, and today we are going to explore some of those traditions. But I think almost all of us have the tradition of giving gifts at this time of the year. There is something about a gift that makes us really excited. Perhaps it's the shining wrapping paper, or it's the reaction of the receiver, which could either be excited as they open up the gift wrap, or it could be disappointment.
Yeah, and I know both of those and those experiences. Today we have students from Fountainview Academy. They're joining us here at Fountainview Academy. And we're going to start with Josh. And Josh, you're from New Zealand.
Yes.
And where you celebrate Christmas, are you on the South Island or the North Island?
Yeah, I'm in the South Island.
Okay, so you do see some snow.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's usually warm.
Our Christmas is hot.
Time. Okay, yeah. So you had an experience where you received a gift. You want to tell us about it?
Sure. So this happened pretty recently, actually, when our senior class went on our mission trip to Thailand. And it's this beautiful country. The food was amazing, and it was a really cool experience.
I love Thai food.
I know, It was great. So what happened is, we were serving the people there, doing medical missionary work, and working with our hands. And it had been a long day, and this was our last night in Thailand. And my hands were like blistered up, and they were painful. So I was ready to hit the sack and go take a good night's rest. So I was, getting snuggled up in my bed, and all of a sudden my friend comes and tells me that there's a girl waiting outside for me. And I'm a little spooked out because, it's kind of weird to have a girl looking for you at the middle of the night. So, I quietly walk out and I look outside, and I look up and I can't see anyone. And then I look down and there's this little girl there, and she has this really cute bouquet of flowers and this moose here. I don't know if you can see this, but she quickly hands me this moose and gives me a flower, and then she runs off into the night. And it was really cool, and I was just standing there still, and I was looking at it. I was like, she's an orphan. Like, she doesn't have any parents. Like, her clothes, like, she doesn't even have that either. And this moose was like literally all she had, and she gave it to me.
Wow.
A stranger she had only known for, a couple of days.
Yeah.
And that had a big impact on me, because I realized that you don't need a lot. You don't need to have a lot of wealth to give. You just need a little bit.
Yeah.
And that little bit makes the difference.
Yeah.
And I was a little stressed, going through schoolwork, and that senior year had brought upon me. And I realized that if I started giving my time and the little that I had to others, it gave me purpose and meaning. And at Christmas we like to get and get new presents, new toys, new cars, everything. But the real spirit of Christmas is about giving.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. I mean, here you went to this country to sacrifice, to be a missionary, and here you found the people that you were serving, and a little orphan girl gives you a present. That's beautiful.
I went to serve, and I was the one who got served.
That's really all about what Christmas is about.
And that gift was probably very special to her and meaningful to her, and yet she gave it away. She was prepared to part with it and give it to you. So
something happens when we give that we actually feel like it blesses us. We feel better about it. Yeah. Have any of you had that experience?
I've had that experience when I was about 7 or 8. It was Christmas time. And I was really into American Girl dolls at the time. Like, they were just my thing. And I had one, and it was Christmas time. It was my last present, and I quickly unwrapped it, and it was another American Girl doll. It was Kit. And I was so excited. I was like, Mom, like, look what I got. Like, can you believe it? I got another American Girl. She was like, yeah, that's awesome. And
she probably knew it was Kit because she got it for you.
Yeah, of course, she bought it for me. But
you were
I was just so
her.
excited that I was like, can't believe it. And because it was like Christmas and it was super busy, the whole family was there, I never actually took her out of the box. I just left her in there. I was just staring at her because she was so beautiful. And we were eating dinner later that day, and my mom is a midwife, and she was telling us how she had to go visit someone who had their baby recently. And this family had a girl that was right about my age. And every time my mom would go to their house, this girl would be sitting on their couch reading an American Girl magazine. And this family was like a family of 5, and they lived in a 2-room house.
Whoa.
So all the kids lived in one, and the parents and the baby lived in the other.
Yeah, a bit stretched for space.
And so, they didn't have very much, to feed 5 kids, and that's just a lot. And so they couldn't afford to get her American Girl doll. And for some reason, the idea popped into my mind that I should give my American Girl doll to her.
Wow.
And so I ran upstairs, and I got Kit, and I wrapped her up again. And it was kind of weird to be wrapping up the present that I had just unwrapped, you know? And I took it downstairs and I was like, Mom, I want to go with you and I want to give her my American Girl doll. And my mom was kind of like shocked that like her little 8-year-old daughter was like giving away, you know, her Christmas gift she just got. And so we drove to her house. It was snowing like crazy. And we went there and we were talking. Right before we left, I went up to the little girl and I was like, I have a gift for you. And so I gave her the gift and then we left. And I never saw her open it, but I can only imagine like how happy she was that I was able to give something to her that I was given to, but it was kind of like a double reward for me to get it and also give it.
Wow.
Really nice.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Giving. Thanks for sharing that, Adrian. Yeah.
So what would have happened if she maybe was disappointed by the gift? Do you think?
I don't know.
I feel like, okay, well, for me, I had an experience where that happened. I was about 10 years old, and it was at our Secret Santa party. And everybody was really excited for this, you know, the party, because every year we get gifts, we give gifts, and it's a really exciting time. And I remember sitting in a classroom, and the teacher was coming around, and she had all the names in this little box. And everybody was reaching in and drawing names, and I was so excited for my turn. And I reached in, and I got a paper, and I got somebody that I didn't get along with very well. And we should give her an alias and a different name. Say her name was Mildred. And so, I don't know, maybe. And so I realized that I was gonna have to really change my attitude, how I looked at Mildred, because often we would argue a lot. Or she would like pick on me, you know, things that, you know, elementary kids really do to each other just to irritate each other. And it was really hard for me to have to, I guess kind of be the bigger person and take the initiative and do something good for somebody who had never really done anything for me. And so I went with my mom and we went to Toys R Us. And she said, what is Mildred like? And the first thing that popped into my head was Polly Pocket dolls. And they're like these little, you know, literally like pocket-sized tiny dolls that you can like take with you. And Mildred would always bring them to school, and they were just kind of like little plastic little toys. And I didn't really understand like the big obsession with the Polly Pocket dolls. And she would always bring them to school, and she never let me play with them. So I was kind of, you know, I didn't really like Polly Pocket dolls because of that. And so we got there, and there's this whole like shelf of Polly Pocket dolls. There's so many of like the same thing. They just look a little bit different. And so I was like, which one do I get her? And out of the corner of my eye, I saw this one beautiful doll, and she had like long blonde hair, and you could do her hair, you could play, you could dress her up with all these different outfits. And I was like, okay, I don't really like Polly Pocket dolls, but I would play with that. And so I remember, you know, to get a good gift, you probably want to get somebody something that you yourself would want. And this is something that I wanted so badly. So I took it to my mom and I said, this is what I want. And my mom was like, are you sure? And so I was like, yeah, I'm very sure, like Mildred will love this. And so we bought it, you know, and I wrapped it up, and I was waiting for the day where I could go to school and give it to her. And so the day finally rolled around, we started having the party, you know, we started with this really nice breakfast. We had like orange juice, tater tot casserole, pancakes, like it was amazing. It's like, this is gonna be the best day of my life. Oh, I'm hungry now. It was so good, the orange juice was so good. And so we,
Did it have pulp?
It did. It was with the pulp. It was cold. It was refrigerated with the pulp. It was so beautiful. It was so good. I'll get you some. And so we started the party after we had that amazing breakfast, and I was just really excited. You know, everybody's in a good mood. You're full. You had good food, and now we're ready to give gifts and receive gifts. And so everybody came, and we sat around this giant Christmas tree, and all the presents were just like overflowing, like up to like half of the tree. It was just covered with presents. And so I remember looking at the sea of presents, and I saw mine like right away. I was like, that's the one I'm gonna give to her. I'm so excited to give it. She's gonna love it. I was just so happy. I was like jittering in my seat. And so it came time for me to get up and give the present to Mildred. And I remember I went over there and I got it. It was like ceremonial for me. I'm like walking slowly, like just, I was reveling in the moment. And I placed it in her hands, and she looks at it, and she's like, oh, you got me a present. No, because we kind of had this, you know, we weren't very good friends. She was like, you got me a present. And I was like, yeah, I did. I was really excited. I was like, you, like, open it, like, look at it. And so she's like tearing apart the paper, and it felt like an eternity. She like finally got it out, and she looked at it, and I was like, it's great, right? And she looks at it, and she goes, I hate it. And she throws it on the floor, and she burst into tears. She was crying, and she ran to the bathroom. And I just looked at that beautiful doll sitting on the floor, and my heart was on the floor too, and I was devastated. And I remember just kind of going and sitting down, and I was like, why would she react like that? She had told me how many like times she loved Polly Pocket dolls, and I thought I was doing the right thing. Yeah. So I was hurt in my heart because I couldn't understand why she rejected a gift that she claimed to love so much. Yeah. And then Oh, the worst part came when the teachers told the kids, like, if you got a present you really don't like, or, the person didn't know you very well, and they got you something that you can't use, like, we'll give you a $10 gift card. You can go to Toys R Us and exchange your gift. And they give the gift card in exchange. And that, was the cherry on top, because Mildred came running. She grabbed her present, gave it to the teacher. The teacher gave her the gift card. And I was not happy. I told the teacher, I was like, can I, have the gift back? She's like, you gave it to Mildred. It's hers to do with what she pleases. And in that moment, I was so hurt, like, because I just couldn't understand that mentality.
Yeah.
But looking back on that experience, although it was so painful, it was a lesson that I'll never forget, because of that. And that is that, it was really just a Polly Pocket doll. It was only $10. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like, she'd probably forget about it when when actually Christmas came and she got a whole bunch of other presents. So really, it wasn't that big of a deal, but for me it was. And to think about it, I realized that I've also rejected a gift, something that can't be bought with even gold or silver, but a gift that really could only have been bought by the innocent blood of the Son of God. And he took the shame that I should have borne on my shoulders. He left his courts of glory above, to come and take on the garb of fallen humanity for my sake. And when he emerged from the grave victorious after all the suffering that my sins put him through, he extended the gift that cost him everything. And when I choose not to love him, when I choose to treat others in a way that he never would have, I'm rejecting his gift of salvation. I'm saying, you did this for me, but I don't really want it. I choose to go my own way. I not only reject the gift, but the Savior who gave it to me. And so when I look at myself in that light, I kind of think, Mildred, what she did to me wasn't so bad, because I've done the same thing to my Savior who gave his life for me. So with all that in mind, when I think about Christmas, I don't really think about it as a time of just remembering what the Savior did, and not just remembering his sacrifice, but living as though it changed your life. And for me, it's living, my life and giving my all to him.
Yeah.
And he'll never reject that.
Yeah.
So.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Cheyenne.
I never knew. I don't know. I'll ask her. We're better now. We get along now. So
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. When you give something to someone else, you're becoming vulnerable.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and here you're giving it to someone who's kind of an enemy.
Yeah.
And and putting that in the spiritual context of Jesus giving his life
Yeah.
for us, he was making himself vulnerable. Like we could say, "Oh, I hate the gift. I don't want it." Right. We're going to continue our discussion, but right now we're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back.
La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, bearing gifts we traverse la field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. La 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 la, born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him my king, king forever, ceasing never over us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Ah, glorious now, behold him arise, King and God and sacrifice. Alleluia, alleluia, sounds through the earth and skies. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star
Canada. All across this vast and diverse nation, people are searching for meaning, acceptance, and hope. But in an increasingly secular nation where nearly 1 in 4 Canadians have no religious affiliation, many people simply don't know how to find happiness and peace for their lives. That is why we are here. As the premier media ministry for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada, It Is Written seeks to offer people more than this world can offer, the good news of Jesus Christ. Each week, we invite countless people to enter into a closer relationship with Jesus through our television program, aired across the nation on CTV, 3ABN, Hope Channel, and many more. In this way, we're able to reach into people's homes and meet them right where they are. Buying this much airtime is no small thing, but the continued commitment of donors just like you keeps the gospel on the air in Canada. Our commitment to spreading the gospel means that we do everything we can to maximize the impact of your financial gift. A gift of $5 is enough to get an episode of our show into 50 households across the nation. $10 is enough to provide a personal, heart-changing Bible lesson to 5 individuals. Your generosity, amplified by the Holy Spirit, has the power to change lives. Canadians everywhere are searching for something more. By partnering with It Is Written, together we can help them find it. To support this life-changing ministry, please send your financial contributions to It Is Written, Box 2010, Oshawa, Ontario, L1H 7V4, or you can call us at 1-888-225-5449. You can also visit us online at www.itiswrittencanada.ca and click on the Donate button.
Friends, we are so thankful that you joined us today. If you would like to enhance your relationship with God, we have an offer for you today that will help you to understand the Bible better.
Friends, our offer for you today is the Discover Bible Study Guides.
In these lessons, you will find the key to help you to understand the Bible, God's holy word, much better.
Here is the information that you need in order to receive these free Bible study guides.
To request today's offer, just log on to www.itiswrittencanada.ca. If you prefer, you may call toll-free at 1-888-CALL-IIW. That's 1-888-CALL-IIW. And thank you for your prayer requests and your generous financial support.
So because I grew up here in Canada, I'm used to a white Christmas. And it's called, I remember actually, I grew up in an orphanage in Saskatchewan. And in this place, they had every year what they called a CHABC Christmas party. And that was a local radio station. And so they would come in and they would have a guy who was very jolly with, rosy red cheeks. And he would dress up in a legit Santa Claus outfit. I mean, it wasn't one of those cheap ones. Like, he had leather boots, he had a leather belt. I mean, it looked real authentic, right? And he came to the window and he would, ho, 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 and he had the bells and all of that, and he would give us gifts.
Did he have white hair?
He had white hair, he had a beard, but as I grew older, I knew which guy it was. And he didn't look like Santa at all. But when he put the outfit on, he was like, perfect Santa Claus, right? And so for me, that is Christmas. And some of you come from other countries. You've never seen one of those?
I don't think I've seen it.
You've never seen Santa Claus?
No, like on TV or stuff. But I don't think I've seen him just like sitting around us with his little bells.
With his little bells? Yeah.
Wow,
Dude, they're everywhere.
Where?
There's so many of them. They all look the same.
So Jasmine, you come from Australia.
Yeah.
So do you have that over there?
Well, yeah, we definitely have that kind of aspect with Santa and we like to get into Christmas in a similar way to that of North America. But originally, I guess our traditions are a bit different. In Australia, for me, Christmas has always been the heat of summer. Like, for me, Christmas is going to the beach, having a barbecue, spending time with friends. Exactly. Exactly. So for us, when we're getting into the spirit of giving and getting ready for Christmas with family, and food is a big thing for us as well. We love eating with friends, and food is very special to us.
Amen.
When it comes to Christmas. So, yeah, as I have a story that's kind of similar to yours, we like to have Christmas parties just like that. And for me, this story happened when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. And I remember Christmas was just starting to get into the swing of things when my dad used to go out weekly and feed the homeless. And I remember always wishing that I could go with him. And I used to beg him and be like, Dad, you should take me. It would be so much fun to go out and help these people with you. But each time he kind of told me that it was a little bit dangerous and I was a bit too young and that maybe one day my chance would come. So anyway, as Christmas was starting to, get closer and closer, one time my dad came home from one of his outings and he told us, guess what, Jasmine? The company that puts on these dinners for the homeless, they're having a Christmas party. And you can come and Mom can come and your sisters can come and it'll be a big family thing that we can go out and help people. And I was so excited. I was like, finally, I get my chance. I love working with food. I love giving and helping people. And so I was like, yes, I can go out and I can feed people and I can help people. So anyway, the time was getting closer to this Christmas party and it had been hot. It was December. It was the middle of summer or the beginning of summer. And, we'd been going to the beach and swimming a lot. And anyway, we were ready for this party. And so as we all get in the car and we're driving into Sydney, we noticed these big black storm clouds starting to form. And we were just like, well, we'll see what happens. And so anyway, by the time we get to the party, it's windy and there's storm clouds everywhere and all of the setups are starting to shake and there's so many people but there's chaos everywhere, and it was still like a lot of people there, and we had the Santa Claus all dressed up just like your Christmas party. And so pretty soon I completely forgot about why I wanted to come to this party. I was so scared by all of the wind and the chaos that I was huddling with my parents and I found a blanket and I was just trying to stay away from everything as much as possible. And I remember just as I was like sitting there, I kind of noticed this little girl that was looking at me, and I opened my blanket a little bit to see what she was doing, and I realized that she came from a background far worse off than me. And she came up to me holding a tray of fairy bread. Now, fairy bread is basically every Australian's child, dessert dream. It's like the definition of happiness. Basically, what it is plain white bread that is then buttered and then covered with rainbow sprinkles. Now, it might sound a little bit simple, but to us, it was definitely the epitome of happiness. Like any party that you went to, fairy bread was a guarantee. And so we loved the stuff. We couldn't get enough of it. And so anyway, as I was sitting there in this blanket, this little girl came up to me with this simple tray of fairy bread, and she extended it out to me and offered me a piece. And I was absolutely shocked in that moment. I was only 5 years old, but the idea that I had come to this party to help girls just like her, and instead the reverse had happened. And I was the one sitting comfortably, and she was the one that extended what she had to offer to me. And so after we left that party, because it kind of all came to a close much quicker due to the storm, I remember just riding home with my family and thinking, it doesn't matter where you come from. Christmas is about giving, and you don't have to be in the right position to be able to give. Anyone can give. And so that's just a lesson that I've been able to take with me with many Christmases to come, that doesn't matter how big or how small or what you have, you can always give.
Awesome.
Well, I can kind of relate to Jasmine with her happiness of fairy bread, right? And also growing up in a country where it's hot, because I was born and raised in South Africa, and we celebrate Christmases when it is hot by the pool and having watermelon. So what about you, Ronald? You're from Panama.
Well, I'm actually Panama and Chile, so a bit of both. Moving around and stuff, every single country that I've been to, it's kind of more of a kind of cool atmosphere. When it hits December, it's not necessarily snow, but it's not boiling hot either most of the time. And it's always different experiences in different places that I was in. When we were smaller, we'd always try to go back to Panama or Chile and celebrate Christmases there. And when it was there, we'd have a parade, the city would shut down, the roads would get blocked, and then there'd be a little car show with different music and stuff, and then fireworks. But the older we got, the harder it was to kind of get back to basically the countries that we were from. And we'd start celebrating Christmas more on our own. And when we were little, they still tried to keep that Christmas atmosphere of the big plastic tree when you like rearrange the branches and the lights and stuff. But the older we got, almost like the smaller the Christmas trees got, and soon there was an age where like every single one would have like a small Christmas tree in his room. And then afterwards it would be like sticky note Christmas trees, or if not just a paper cutout Christmas tree. And then soon we kind of just threw the Christmas tree idea out, and now we just have lights everywhere. And the older we got, the smaller the gifts got, but the more time we'd spend with each other, the more we would less hang out with friends, the more we just kind of stay home and just kind of relish the gift of time that we had together. And what we would do is now we kind of pull out a mattress, we watch a movie, we have like lights everywhere, we have like a small little dinner, and it's not something fancy, but it's not something like horrible either. It's like this nice, really simple dinner, and we just enjoy the time that we have together. I think 2 years ago, we've been missionaries in Thailand, and what happened was that on Christmas Day, we wouldn't be together. My sister and my mom would stay in Thailand, and me and my dad would go to Chile. And what happened was that we decided that instead of just spending Christmas apart, we just move it to December the 15th and just celebrate Christmas together. So we put this Christmas album that we always listen to and just kind of have some nuts and then just decorate the house and just spend Christmas on that day. And it felt like Christmas, because for me, Christmas was never the day, but it was the time and the moment that we had together. We create Christmas. Christmas isn't the day itself that all of a sudden trees pop out of nowhere and lights pop out of nowhere. We make it that way. And we did it on the 15th, and when December 25th hit, we didn't really feel this really big Christmas because we already celebrated it before. And last year we did the same thing, but here in Canada, we spent a white Christmas. We hadn't had one in a very long time. Because even in Chile, where we live, the most that we get is just a little bit of frost, not even snow. And it was like this big white Christmas, and we're just jumping around in the snow because we're not used to it. And there was an actual Christmas tree. It was just really different, and we just enjoyed it. Because for us, the gift is family and the gift is time. The time that you can give, and that's something that you can keep on giving.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Ronald and Josh and Adrian and Cheyenne and Jasmine. Thank you so much. Really, Christmas is all about what we find here in the scriptures, that Jesus came into this world. I just want to read this to you. In Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, it says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Almighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." So this is talking about Jesus. And Jesus came to this world. He was from everlasting. God, the fullness of the Godhead, dwelt in him bodily, as the Apostle Paul says. And he came to this world, and he was possessed of one purpose, and that was he lived to bless others. And that is what Christmas is all about. It's about giving, what you have shared with us, and what we know in our hearts, that when we share gifts, that we are blessed ourselves in the act of blessing others. And so we've come to the end of our program today, and I just want to remind you to remember the words of Jesus, that it is written, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God."